Good afternoon, guys. So this is my Back to School Live number 2. I'm going to be talking about getting kids to bed on time, which seems to be a common challenge, right? And the person that actually requested this topic, I kind of followed up and I said, what happens if your kids don't get to bed on time? And she said, all hell in the morning, right? So like we all kind of can relate to that. It's like your kids don't get out of bed on time, and then when you wake them up, they're tired and they're cranky, and they don't want to listen or they don't want to get up, and it becomes more challenging for us, right? And so one of the things I thought about was the idea that when we worry about getting our kids to bed on time, how does that show up for us, right? We worry about the morning being a problem. Like, oh no, if we don't get our kids to bed on time, the morning's gonna be horrible. How does that create us showing up at bedtime, right? So if at bedtime, I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, got to get the kids to bed on time. Otherwise tomorrow's gonna be horrible and we're never gonna get out on time and they're gonna be cranky and it's gonna be awful. How is that playing out for you if you are in that mindset, right? You're in that energy, that frantic energy of getting your kids to bed. Well, my guess is that it probably makes you short with your kids, maybe yell a little bit, get snippy, right? And so when you're doing those things, those aren't really the kind of things that kids want to listen to, right? So they don't really want to be around that kind of energy. And it's unconscious for kids to not want to be around that. It's not like they're thinking to themselves like, oh, I don't really like the way that mom's talking, so I'm just going to walk away, or I don't want to listen. They don't consciously think that. It's just an energy coming toward them that they are repelled by and that they resist. And so what happens is when we fear the future, we worry about the next day, the bedtime is not going to go as smoothly. So what I want you to do is when you're thinking about some of the issues, the struggles that you're having with going back to school, I want you to really think about why. Like, what is really your worry? And usually if that worry is in the future, or even if it's current, present time, that worry is going to create you showing up in a different way than if you had a feeling like calm or confident or certainty or acceptance. Just knowing that whatever time your kids get to bed is exactly the right time and it will all work out. Something like that. What kind of feeling would you get from that thought? And could you believe something like that, right? In the moment when you're putting them to sleep, being present, feeling relaxed, because that's what most of us want, right? We want our kids to go to bed so that we can go relax, right? So just kind of like, how can we get those emotions to happen right in those moments without having to need them to go to sleep? And this takes the pressure off, right? And then the stress goes down. And when you're less stressed and you're less frantic, guess what kids do? They calm down and they listen. So, we want to be able to get into those energies for sure. That's number one. We want to be able to get into that calm, confident energy that no matter what, it's going to work out. No one's going to die. Our kids are going to be okay in the morning. And we don't need to be pressured or stressed about it necessarily. And if we're not, it actually works better. Our kids listen more readily. So that's number one. Number two is the idea of we want to use some tools that will help us to get our kids to go to bed on time more easily. So those tools look like planning in advance. So letting our kids know ahead of time what time bedtime is. Using when-then statements. So when you get your PJs on, then we can read a book. Instead of commands, right? We want to use questions instead of telling kids what to do. What's the next step in your routine after you brush your teeth? What else do we need to do? And then also you can use another tool called choices, right? So would you like to brush your teeth first, or would you like to read a book first? Probably not that choice, but would you like to brush your teeth first or put your PJs on first? Would you like to wear these pajamas or those pajamas? That kind of thing. So you always want to, we always want to make sure that you're using these tools as much as possible instead of commanding your kids, right? So if we're frantic, we're freaking out, and we're commanding our kids, we're going to have a problem getting them to sleep. So we want to also plan in advance, let them know what's going to happen. Make sure that the screen time is limited right before bedtime, because that can ramp kids up. And then the other thing is, have you ever noticed how kids get really, really ramped up before bed and we think, oh crap, right? They're going to be crazy and they're not going to want to go to sleep. Well, actually, as it turns out, this is something that they do. It's almost like a stress release. So when we shut that down, it actually extends bedtime and makes it harder. So what I would suggest is you find an activity that they can do for about 5 minutes. It can be like, smacking them with having a pillow fight, or doing an obstacle course, or my kids like to flip on my bed and just roll around. Anything like that. Let them have about 5 minutes of getting their energy out, and it's even better if you do it with them, because then there's a connection. And the connection is what they need to calm down. So having that connection with your child during the bedtime routine will help them be ready for bed. So, number one, make sure you're thinking, I can handle this, I can get them down. It's not gonna be a problem no matter what happens. It'll be exactly the way it should be. Get into your calm, confident energy. Number two, use the tools, the enforceables, the when-thens, and the questions instead of commands. And plan in advance, make sure they know what the deal is, what the routine looks like. And then number three, allow them to get their energy out and connect. Okay? So I can't wait to hear what you guys decide to do and how it goes. So if you use these tools and you use my 3 steps, let me know how it goes. I'm very curious to hear from you. If you're on live, you're welcome to ask questions or say hi, but if not, go back, watch the replay. And I hope this helps you with bedtime, because I know this is a big challenge for everybody. All right, guys, I'll be back tomorrow with another live. Thanks for coming on and watching. Take care. Bye.